facing in India, and then segue into the solution, the national education policy, which Dr. Amit Dattaji very succinctly captured. And then I want to share with you the last committee chartered by AICTE for implementation plan. And major thing we have to remember that there are several challenges we face when we are talking about implementing NEP 2020. And one of the good solution we can keep in mind is having a sound project structure for NEP 2020 deployment. And I personally want to share some of the implementation actions taken, particularly in the area of motivated, energized, and capable faculty through various FDPs for the leadership, for the people who are going to be really implementing in the middle, as well as all faculties with respect to soft skill, etc. And several new concepts will be introduced. We'll wrap it up with some recommendations. And generally, it's a good idea to take at least 2 key takeaways from the presentation so you can start applying what you are learning and getting out of the session today, because you are spending your valuable time. And I also want to congratulate those who have joined online to attend this session. So the major theme will be value education, faculty excellence and empowerment, student engagement, community service, soft skills in the curriculum, engaging the alumni and industry experts, and big focus on project management and risk management, because implementing National Education Policy 2020 is a giant project. So project management discipline has to be developed, and people at all educational institutes, including K through 12 school system, project management should become the backbone, and we'll cover that. So here is a single slide which captures the state of higher education and what challenges we are facing. So if you all remember, we are still using the remnants of the old British system, where focus was memorization and vomiting. And that paradigm shift has to occur to move away from that to giving the concepts and the foundation, and allowing better retention of knowledge in students. So I have listed here in 2 columns the current state versus the desired state based on experiences both teaching in India as well as here in the US and around the world. So out of 6 major areas, what we need to do is let's focus on the right side, where we need to end up with the help of National Education Policy 2020. We need to have inquiry-based learning, not the rote learning. And dry theories do not cut anymore in the 21st century. We need the best-in-class practices incorporated into the curriculum. Now, the academic curriculum must align with the industry needs, and I see a big gap of lack of soft skills in the curriculum, which needs to be shored up, and I'll focus on that in later part of this presentation. Quality of education is required both at the system and at the curriculum level. Most important, all of the faculty who have joined today, we need to have some industry experience so we can give the real hands-on knowledge to the students. And our obligation as a faculty is to continue to renew and upgrade our knowledge. Industry participation is extremely critical by inviting them to join on the boards at the department level, at the institute level. And one of the most neglected items is the alumni engagement. And we need to engage the alumni so that they come back and give their resources, give their talent, their time, and also their treasure. And this part needs to be focused upon by all educational institutes throughout India. So as Dr. Amit Dattaji mentioned, after 34 years, we received the wonderful national education policy approved by the central government on July 29, 2020. It's extremely aspirational policy. Now the question is, are we going to be able to implement it thoroughly and systematically throughout all higher education institutes and throughout all K through 12 school systems? So that's the big challenge we are facing. So let's begin with the value education in India. So if we go back into the olden times, people went to Gurukul to get the basic education. Whether you were a king or a common person, you study together and do all the services needed to work with the Guru and get the best knowledge one can get. So as a faculty, it is our role to inculcate the character building values in our students, ethics, honesty and integrity with the foundation, compassion for others, practice of non-violence and practice of truth, respect for elderly, respect for the environment, and reverence for teachers, because without gurus there is no gyan. Guru bina gyan nahi. And we need to instill the spirit of collaboration and cooperation among students, not the competition and cutting people down. And this is the obligation and the opportunity we have as a faculty to develop the responsible citizens of India and bring them up as a great leaders who will take on the next generation and lead India at the forefront of the world. Now, let me mention a little bit about ethics. We have a long work to do, long way to go. If you look at the World Corruption Index, out of 180 countries, we rank at 86, close to about mid-level. World's most ethical companies out of 135 shown globally, only 3 companies from India made the list: Infosys, Tata Steel and Wipro. And in the World Human Development Index, we stand at 131 out of 188 countries, where the expected years of schooling, gross national income, and life expectancies data is shown here. So we have a long way to go, but we can all determine to do our bit as a faculty, to do our best to prepare the citizens and the next generation of leaders to take over. Now, as all the faculties are here, I want to have
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam, Vishaje Bhavaroginam, Gurave Sarvalokanam, Dakshinamurtaye Namaha.
I was so very fortunate to have wonderful teachers, starting with the elementary, middle level, high school, undergrad, grad, and postgrad, both in India as well as here in the US for the later years. And all of us as the teachers, we need to be at our best in terms of our knowledge, be up to date, be at the cutting edge. Now let's move towards the implementation for NEP 2020, and I'll pick up the speed. So I want to thank Chairman AICTE, Professor Anil Sahasrabudheji, who invited me to be part of the last committee chartered towards the end of October. And it was an honor to serve with the 9 distinguished educationists from various parts of India. And special thanks to Colonel Venkat for keeping the committee work on track. And committee met during the day in the late afternoon, which was early morning hours here. So I communicated with the team via email on a daily basis. and a lot of recommendations were made. And I was very happy that most of the recommendations were accepted by the committee. As Amit mentioned, these are the 9 major areas the implementation plan is focusing through AICTE, and I'm going to elaborate on the motivated, energized, and capable faculty. Now, the committee's work was crystallized with short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. And this is 2021 is almost over. So the institutes which have not done much work in this area, they will have to start working on it in 2022. Highlight of the first year of the goals, short-term goals, were that the core subjects will occupy 60%, program elective 20%, and 20% open electives. And this can help developing multidisciplinary education. So, for example, if you are teaching in the engineering side, encourage students to take some business classes as an elective. And like the other way, if you are teaching in business schools, take the operations courses from the engineering side so that you can get the best of the both worlds. Now the pandemic has taught us that we can have mixed delivery online, blended or face-to-face. Curriculum has to be revised with the new assessment tools and make bridge courses. Big focus was on access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability to all. A major area was use of mother tongue in primary, secondary education, and higher education institutes. And there is a big focus to have national languages in which the education should be imparted. Credit recognition and transfer and setting up of the academic bank of credit, that's a new innovative idea. Internationalization of the education, integrating school and higher education, and again a big focus on vocational training. If you look at the medium-term goals for the following 4 years, the complexity of higher education institute will be replaced by simple university label, so reduce the bureaucracy, greater mobility of students in India, and high quality higher education institute in aspirational districts and special education zones, integration of vocational education in the mainstream education throughout all the educational institutes, and the programs in higher education more in mother tongue and local languages. And I can tell you from my personal experience, up to the grade 11, 1 through 11, I studied in my mother tongue in Gujarat, Gujarati. Now the year I came to Mumbai for 2 years and for first year and second year science, I had a first 6 months difficulty to convert from my Gujarati to English. But once I learned English with the solid foundation of learning in school, in the high school in mother tongue, served me well. And in the long run, for the last 10 years, the vision statement for the national education policy should be successfully achieved. The fragmentation of the higher education system should be transformed into multidisciplinary university, and at least one higher education institute to become multidisciplinary ATI near every district, and there are over 800 plus districts so far in India. And Sanskrit University will move towards becoming large multidisciplinary institutions of higher learning. So these are the specific guidance and guidelines coming out from AICTE, and this is a roadmap all the educational institutes should follow. At the suggestion of the chairman AICTE, Professor Anil Sasudedi, we wrote up a op-ed, and it was covered in India as well as in the US about the work of the committee to let everyone know what transpired in the committee at AICTE level. Now, what you see here is a picture of going to Mount Everest. So, NEP 2020 is a transformation journey no less difficult than going to Mount Everest and coming back. So, in order to conquer that peak at Mount Everest, we need to have preparation, planning, training, etc. And exactly the same concept is required for NEP 2020. Preparation, planning, training of all different levels of the leadership, the people in the middle level as well as all faculties. Now, transformation or a change management as a foundation with three pillars: leadership, which will create and lead the change. You need the talent management as a second pillar. This is where employees implement the change. And the backbone should be the project management, which will facilitate the change. So these three pillars, if done well and working in concert, that will allow us to continue to implement NEP 2020 effectively throughout the journey for the next 15 years. Now, coming from the experiences from the corporate side, change management success comes when three C's are working in harmony, working in coordination with each other. The CEO, which is the Vice Chancellor, Director or the Principal for the Educational Institute, they provide the direction. We have CFO, Chief Financial Officer, that is the Registrar at the Educational Institute, they manage the finances. But what is missing for most of the Educational Institute is the Chief People Officer, the CPO, and that person is the one who can bring the right talent and manage the talent for the successful change management and successful implementation of NEP 2020. So seriously consider creating that position which the industry uses very well, the top HR function, the Vice President of HR at the Chief People Officer for Educational Institute. Now, I've been very fortunate to have well over 36 years of leading and coaching 15 change management journeys, one education, one entity here in the US, two government entities in Egypt and Turkey, 8 corporate entities in US, professional, 2 entities and 2 entities in the non-profit sector. And I've been great follower of the Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework since 1989 when I was with AT&T Bell at the world's best telecom company, and honored to design and deliver project management and risk management courses globally since 2008. Now, as I mentioned, NEP 2020 is nothing short of a huge project, and any project will be successful when we use Dr. Deming's cycle with the big focus on planning. So Dr. Deming, the scientist and from US to Japan after World War II to rebuild the industrial economy, has given us a wonderful cycle. 4 components: plan, do, study, and act. Now the guidance is you need 10% excellent plan, but 90% flawless execution. So the 10% plan is the national education policy. That part is done. So the plan is in place, but now we need to execute it, which will require 90% effort. So take that plan, start implementing it systematically using the short-term, medium-term, and the long-term goals we just covered. When you do the implementation, study the results, and if the results are not as expected, make some changes in the X cycle and then keep continuing to work on the cycle for continuous implementation, keeping in mind that planning without execution is futile, but execution without planning would be fatal. And one comment I have at India scene, we need to do more in terms of actually planning out the implementation of NEP 2020. So here are some key challenges I want to share with you, that systematic implementation of NEP 2020 will require a sound structure. Engaging the alumni and industry experts is extremely critical. We need to have that time, talent, and treasure. We need to have a strategic plan communicated with all the stakeholders for the NEP 2020. For the seamless transition is required from K to 12 school system to HAIs. And the biggest thing will be, we need to have a uniform implementation approach rather than a shotgun approach where people take bits and pieces of the policy and what they would like to work on, they do the implementation, and rest of the things are not touched. In India, unfortunately, we do not have a sharing culture, but if we begin to share our successes and failures once we start implementing, it will help others who are coming along on the same path. We need some change agents to bring the outside perspectives, do some pilots and understand the landscape and learn from it. Now the item 9 to 10, both of them are extremely critical. The leadership at the education institutes, so we are talking about vice chancellor, director, principal, they need to first have a grounding in sustainability and what is their role. They must be committed, involved, and supportive. And as I mentioned, NEP 2020 will require a tremendous focus on project management. And since we are doing something new, this is inherent part of the project. So both of those disciplines must be developed, and we need to prepare people, faculties, proficiency in project management and risk management, and proficiency in soft skills for faculties and students is the order of the day, and we'll cover that shortly. So here is one of the solutions, project structure. So at the institute level, you create an NEP 2020 council with the top leader in charge and select a faculty with the expertise and experience, good track record, and willing volunteer to make the NEP 2020 champion. Then using AICTE guidance to create three major clusters, short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And you can create additional sub-clusters as needed. And most important, fourth bullet, create a trio like Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, faculty, alum, and industry expert per cluster. And simply having those three different people, faculty like Brahma, alum like Vishnu, and industry expert like Mahesh, they can bring in a tremendous knowledge of taking the short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals and objectives and start implementing it. Once you create the strategic plan for NEP 2020 by having a mission and values and communicate that mission-critical strategic plan to all stakeholders. I've been interacting with many educational institutes, leaders, and a lot of places. The assignment is made mainly to the dean R&D. He or she goes on a sideline, does some work, reports higher up, and the rest of the people in the institute have no clue what's happening. And that is not the way to do the implementation. You need to excite and include everybody in the process. They need to be getting relevant training. We covered the project management discipline as a backbone to review the progress on a quarterly basis. Use your newsletter and internet to communicate the progress, to build up the momentum and keep the buzz going. And hold everybody accountable, those who are assigned the various aspects of any 2020 project for results, and celebrate the success with all stakeholders. So having this project structure is more like a roadmap, will allow you to do systematic implementation. Now I'll share with you some of the motivated, energized, and capable faculty with the faculty teaching and learning aspects briefly. Now I'll begin first with the faculty excellence model, and I've chosen the simple acronym CSIR, very famous in India, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, where faculty needs to learn in a collaborative fashion under the scientific guidance of the expert faculty by doing lots of introspection and reflection. In general, faculties learn in a solo fashion so that peer learning and interaction is missing. So this is one of the guidance point. And over the years, I've seen it works when we design those faculty development programs effectively. There is a difference between the average versus gifted, because the average teacher explains complexity, but the gifted teacher reveals simplicity. So as a faculty, our goal should be to take a most complex subject and keep it in a simple way so that the students can grasp it and they get excited and take it forward. So in Sanskrit, we have many forms of teachers. When we begin as a first time teaching, sharing info only, we are Adhyapak. When we add knowledge to the information, we become Upadhyay. When we share the skills, we become Acharya. When we share the insight, we become Pandit. When we share the visionary thinking, we become Drishta. And ultimately, when we deliver the wisdom, we become the Guru. So that should be the aspiration for all the faculty to reach the ultimate position of Guru in your chosen field. And keep in mind that we need to educate students by engaging, energizing, entertaining, and empowering them, and use any and all of those levers as appropriate. Now I want to segue into the second aspect, the students' engagement. The engagement experience I have over the 28 years teaching in graduate programs here in the US, as well as both undergrad and grad program in India at various institutes. I involve my students in their own learning, and when they learn something, they are required to apply it on the project. And when they work on the project in the classrooms, they are required to share it with their peers. So there is a big focus on peer learning, and that part needs to be addressed in India. There is a tremendous wealth of knowledge among students that peer learning needs to be encouraged. So involve, learn, apply, and share allows the students and learners get engaged in the classroom. I want to quickly share with you 12 keys to the kingdom for learners' engagement and create magic in the classroom. And I'm sure a lot of these areas you may have experienced and used it yourself. And I have been using it for the last 20 years with a lot of success. So assign a topic to research and share in the classroom, give it to one student and keep rotating it. As a faculty, my role is to show the importance and real-world application of the topic. And I generally have a icebreaker questions at the beginning and keep asking various students and keep rotating them so all of them get a chance to respond. And as a faculty, I must deliver concepts and principles, so there is no need for memorization, and allow curiosity and innovativeness to flourish in the classroom. And when the session is over, key takeaways at the end, at least one from each and every student. I was reviewing Harvard Business Publishing and borrowed 4 items, item 8 through 11. They suggest conduct short polls or voting, arrange role plays as appropriate. You can always create small groups, give a topic, ask them to discuss and report back to the full class. As I mentioned, you can create the project teams and they work throughout the semester, deliver the project report and then present it to the entire class. You can allow guest speakers to come in and share broader perspectives. And most important, as a faculty, we must replenish our knowledge so we are at our cutting edge and then give the cutting edge knowledge to the students. So think of you, all of you. You are expert, excellent faculty. You are like a powerful transmitter, but you need to have the other side, the students, their antenna highly tuned so they are the receiver. And when both ends are at the best, the knowledge can be transmitted. And if we do this well, we get a gold star. So a few more models. I come from the industry experience before getting into academics. Almost 17 years in two different industry, chemical and telecom. What I observed was success in industry comes from teamwork. So I started simulating the teamwork in my classes right from the beginning. So I use this simple acronym CEO, collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based learning. So teams are formed in the class and they are required to cooperate internally and across the team. Experiential, case study and project-based, and outcome-based reflection and implementation focus. And I'll share a couple of items with you in the next few slides. So my classes, they are required to study between 8 to 10 state-of-the-art article or cases from the top journals like Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan, McKinsey Quarterly, etc. And they study the article in the team and write up a 2-page simple, succinct summary to have better retention. Key principles and practices, 3 to 4 bullets for the entire team. Application of principles and practices in the function 5 to 6 line by bridging the theory with the practice, and that's the most important aspect in the middle where they have to do reflection and key takeaways from the article, 3 to 4 bullets for the entire team. And this effort requires reading, discussing, and summarizing, and this allows the better retention of the articles. Template for reflection journal: when the entire course is over, they need to write it down on one page, 3 key learnings, 3 key lessons in the bullet form, and plan how they will implement 3 key lessons. And assign a 5% weightage on the reflection journal, which will force them to have the total reflection of what they've learned and what they are going to start implementing once the program is over. Given good amount of recommendations in terms of the training for the administration and leadership, project leads in the middle level and the faculties. And these FPPs have been delivered. Sustainable change management. I'll introduce very quickly the Baldrige framework for education, and very big item, importance of community service. We talked about project management, risk management, and soft skills. These FPPs were designed with very specific, rigorous, and collaborative assignments. And very happy to share the Atal AICTE, Atal FDP's experience for the last 1 year, January 2021 through January 2022. Resource faculty for 27 FDPs in 11 states and 2 union territories. Gave 15 chief guest or keynote addresses, mainly the learners' engagement, and offered 30 sessions with focus on leadership, Baldrige in education, value education, project management, innovative pedagogy, career development guidance, etc. And here are some of the observations. General FDPs used to address better attendance of the registered people. I'm sorry to say that with the 200 capacity opened up by the AICTE Atal Academy, people register, but less than half of them are attending, and that is not great. We are not using the resources wisely. Greater engagement of attendees. They are just listening, one-way communication. More engagement is required. And FDPs should be offering more collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based learning. Now, special thanks to Dr. R.K. Soni and Dr. Amit Dattaji for allowing me to participate in these Atal FDPs. Uh, I'm looking at the clock now. A few more minutes, I'll start wrapping it up. Expert peer reviewer. I was again delighted to be included as a part of the team. So far, 46 Atal FDPs I have reviewed. Most of these FDPs were very well conceived and executed. Attendance is again a big issue. And in some of the FDPs I saw, they try to recruit their own people from the same institute. You need to have variety of people coming in from various institutes and industry, not just fill up with your own institute. Very briefly, these are some of the highlights of the FDPs and MDP offered. Leadership, project management, soft skill for faculty, soft skill for students. Aldrich in education framework. This one is in place since the year 2001 for US, and number of education institutes have deployed this framework of 7 categories: leadership, strategic plan, customer focus, measurement, workforce focus, operations focus, and focus on results. And the central idea is focus on excellence, not compliance. In India, there is a tendency to just do the compliance, bare minimum. Here, it will force you to do excellence. One FDP has been conducted at BVVS Polytechnic in Bagalkot, and we were very fortunate to have variety of resource faculty to join from various institutes and deliver this program. Two more concept: community service. If we allow compulsory community service, 2 hours per week, every weekend for 8 months a year when institute is in session, it will amount to 16 billion hours of project work to be done, helping the surrounding community to solve real problems, and students pick up the critical life skills of communication, leadership, etc. This will help in nation building. Personally been very involved in giving back free Gyandan over the last 8+ years. 1 million people have benefited. And one of the pet project over the last 32+ years is the free Chakshudan Blind Foundation for India. We have supported 2 million adults and million children with the free eyesight checkups throughout India. Most of our medical partners are Ramakrishna missions in various parts of India. Last key concept, soft skills. Extremely important. If you look at major surveys, more than 90% of the executives are looking for new hires with better soft skill over hard or technical skills. And ability to work in a team for a new hire is more desirable rather than analytical or quantitative skills. So here is the big gap. Industry wants better soft skills. We are not creating students or the graduates with the appropriate soft skill because it's missing in the curriculum. So it needs to be part of the curriculum. And here is the experiment we ran at my alma mater, IIT BHU Varanasi, 2014 to 2016. 12 sessions, 6 in blue, soft skills, 6 in red, quality management topics. And all these programs were run using Google Hangout free, on YouTube, recorded free, and made it public, and is listed on the American Society for Quality website. And with 100 colleges and universities expanded this program, and so far we are tracking over 1 million students, faculties, and professionals benefiting. Here is the power of technology. With help from the Commissioner of Higher Education, I was invited to give a talk on effective time management at Bizek Studio in Gandhinagar, capital of Gujarat. Via satellite, 450 colleges, 5 lakh students benefited for this live presentation on effective time management. And here is a brief summary of a number of FDPs and MDPs delivered. BSNL, Tata Network, AICT, Atal FDPs, AICT, IST, short-term training programs, etc. and including some NGOs, Tata Network Forum, etc., and a few places in the US at my alma mater, Illinois Institute of Tech, and national at the Indian Railways as well. We were recognized with a silver award by DL Shah, Quality Award in silver category at the Quality Council of India's National Quality Conclave in New Delhi on 20th of August 2016. And two key resources I want to share before I close. So change management, we can learn from father of change management, John P. Cotter, Professor Emeritus at Harvard Business School, seminal book on leading change, second edition, and it's affordable. Importance of project charter, since I mentioned that the project management is the backbone to deliver NEP 2020. It is a blueprint to plan and take actions on the project, allows the fact-based decision making, will identify all the stakeholders, will focus on vision and mission for the project. It will require objective deliverables and milestones. It will identify and prioritize risk. There is a communication strategy required, and there is a sign-off on charter to free the project scope. So always insist on a project charter for every project, including NEP 2020 implementation. Risk Management, wonderful book written by a faculty from University of California at Berkeley, identifying and managing project risk. And this risk management is not taken seriously in the Education Institute, but Corona and the COVID-19 taught us the importance of identifying the risk and managing the risk. So in conclusion, my recommendations are that NEP 2020 is a transformation journey which will require a laser-sharp focus on a wartime footing. We need to empower all the stakeholders to have a successful journey and harness the stakeholders' expertise, experience, knowledge, and wisdom, have the relevant training to all these stakeholders, look for global best practices in education, bring it to India. Execution discipline is very important. We do a lot of debate and talk. When time for action comes, there is nobody there, but they've gone to the next big debate and nobody is ready to take any action. Accountability for sustainable results, sharing good practices and results, change the culture, and zero political interference from the government. And lastly, we can learn from Nelson Mandela.